Dan Holloway, who has found it's a very short route from Langley High School to the Holiday House. And we're going to be cooking with potatoes, one of the best buys in the marketplace, incidentally. And part 2 in our series on children's art. All this and more coming up this morning on Good Day Pittsburgh.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Pittsburgh with Eleanor Schano White and Tom Peterson with news.
Good morning, everyone. We promise to brighten up this rather dull day as we switch back and forth from the living room to the kitchen. We have a myriad of fascinating features for you in the next half hour. But first, it's time to welcome Tom Peterson. He's here as usual with the mid-morning news update. What's happening, Tom?
Thank you, Eleanor, and good morning, everyone. The audit of Allegheny County Coroner Dr. Cyril Weck's controversial Special Education Fund is reported to be completed and will be in the hands of County Controller John Lynch later today. There are reports, though, that Lynch will not make the audit public, saying, "I do not intend to handle this in a public manner through the newspapers and the glare of television cameras." The Hancock County, West Virginia prosecutor Paul Altamere and an assistant, along with 25 other persons, have been arrested and charged by the FBI with gambling and racketeering. The arrests, according to FBI officials, is expected to have a devastating effect on illegal gambling operations in West Virginia's northern panhandle. The Pittsburgh district is digging out of a 4-inch snowfall that hit the area most of yesterday. We were spared, if you can call it that, as the brunt of that snowstorm hit parts of eastern and central Pennsylvania. Frigid temperatures in the Pittsburgh district this morning caused highways to be slippery and hazardous. Clifford Jones, Governor Thornburg's nominee to become head of the Environmental Resources Department, faced stiff questions yesterday about his political affairs at his confirmation hearings. The Senate Environmental Resources Committee, though, later postponed action on that confirmation. In other action, the Senate Insurance Committee held a hearing on the appointment of Harvey Bartle to become Secretary of the Insurance Department, but again took no action. A former Pittsburgh district engineer with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Colonel Max Gennaro, says the 17 locks and dams on Pittsburgh's rivers are falling apart. He suggests getting started now on a 30-year program to replace and improve the locks and dam system. The president of National Steel Corporation, George Stinson, says the American steel industry could not pick up the slack if foreign imports were reduced to acceptable levels. Stinson says stringent environmental regulations would continue to pound away at steel's profitability picture. The ceiling rate for Pennsylvania residential mortgages of $50,000 or less during the month of March will hit a record 11%, up from the current 10.75%. Gold opened in London at an all-time high for the second day in a row today at $251.37 an ounce. Energy Secretary Schlesinger says the crisis in Iran might have greater repercussions on the oil industry than did the Arab oil embargo of 1973. And the Carter administration is considering forcing the closing of gasoline stations on Sundays in an effort to cut consumption. In sports, Duquesne got blasted last night down at the Coliseum at West Virginia, 92 for the Mountaineers, 63 for the Dukes. Temple over Penn State, 54-43, and John Carroll just got by Carnegie Mellon by a score of 76-73. That's the news. Thanks for being with us. Now back to Eleanor.
Thank you, Tom. We're in the kitchen right now, and we want to welcome Pam Moore, who is a home economist with the Potato Board. Now, Pam, everybody loves potatoes, but I know a lot of women in particular who won't eat them because they think they're fattening. So now it's your job, as you go around the country, to explain to people that potatoes are not really fattening, are they?
That's true, and it's such a myth. The poor malign potato has been off the diets of many people who try and lose weight. Actually, a medium-sized potato only has 100 calories, which is no more than an apple or a pear of the same size. And yet people, I think it's guilty by association with butter and sour cream and things like that that are laden in calories.
Now you have come up with a lot of recipes, low-calorie potato dishes.
Right.
What are you going to do for us now?
This is going to be a stuffed tomato potato salad that uses alternatives to mayonnaise for dressing. In this case, the pulp of these 8 tomatoes gives the juicy type of dressing for this salad. I have hollowed out these tomatoes and drained the water out because tomatoes are very high in water. To that I'm adding 1 potato that I have simmered and then diced, 1 raw carrot that has been diced, 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley for a little color, and then low-fat cottage cheese, which also is another nice way to serve potatoes, either a potato salad or, say, on top of a baked potato instead of sour cream. Plain yogurt makes a very nice dressing for potatoes too, if you're trying to avoid the sour cream and butter way to go.
You've used the cottage cheese as a substitute for mayonnaise, which is fattening.
Sour cream or something. Yes, very fattening. And then just a little bit of salt here, 1 teaspoon to bring out the flavor.
Okay. Pam, you explained to me a few minutes ago that there's been a bumper crop of potatoes and that this is going to be one of the best buys in the marketplace this year.
That is true. This year's fall potato harvest was the largest in history. We harvested, or not we, the potato farmers harvested 31.8 billion pounds of potatoes. And this means there's such an abundant supply that potatoes are going to be very low in price, unlike most other foods which are rapidly increasing.
Pam, while you're stuffing the tomatoes, maybe you can explain to us again the different kinds of potatoes and the different uses.
Okay, there are 4 varieties of potatoes grown in the United States. One of them, which is the most popular, is the russet potato. This is your large brown potato with a netted skin and has a mealy texture. When it's baked, it becomes very fluffy. There are 3 other varieties. There's the round red and a round white and a long white, which is not in the stores right now. These are more dense, they are more moist, they have a very thin skin, and they are not crumbly like the russet potato is. They stick together more.
I've always used just 2 rules of thumb. This russet potato, which I've always called, what is it, the Idaho potato?
Yeah, Idaho grows a lot of them.
That's the
right.
baking potato. And then the red potato or this white
potato.
I've always figured that they are just good for boiling. Is that right?
Many people prefer to prepare their potatoes that way.
Okay, if you had to find one potato, an all-purpose potato, what would it be?
I think, well, we consider all of them an all-purpose potato, but a russet potato will give you that fluffier, baked, desirable quality, and the other types are not as fluffy and crumbly.
Now you're going to stuff all of these tomatoes. By the way, you do such a fantastic job of
hollowing those out?
Yes. How do you do that? What
Thank
kind
you.
of
I used a tablespoon, actually. It was a metal spoon with a very sharp edge, and so it kind of cut away all the little seeds cleanly.
There are artists in the world of food. Now, you bake this?
No, then it's
serve it raw.
chill it and serve it raw, and it makes a nice little hors d'oeuvre or salad for a party or buffet just to eat out of hand with a napkin.
What would happen if you took this same recipe and put them in the oven?
It would be delicious. You'd have to eat it with a fork, but cooked tomatoes are very delicious.
You know, in the wintertime, people sort of think in terms of hot food instead of cold food.
Right.
Not necessarily, and I think maybe that's foolish. Maybe we should get into salads and things, and it'll at least give us a little preview of spring and summer. But I imagine that could be baked. Now, you do have a nice little booklet here. It's called the Potato Lover's Diet Cookbook. If one wanted some information about this cookbook, how would they go about getting it?
They could write to the Potato Board. The address would be the Potato Board, 1385 South Colorado Boulevard, number 512, Denver, Colorado, 80222.
Okay. And I think we will mention now, usually when we're offering recipes and cookbooks, they are free of charge. There is a charge of 50 cents for this. So if you want this cookbook, you can write to the address that Pam just gave you. I want to thank you so much for stopping by this morning. You've brought us some very good information on the days of high food costs. Just stick with potatoes because they are going to be less costly this season than in the past. And potatoes are not fattening. You can eat potatoes if you're on a diet. Right now we're going to go into one of our regular segments, Pam. Everybody's always interested in their daily horoscope, and we have a marvelous woman, Harriet Friedlander, the Sign of Aquarius bookstore on Shadyside, and she's ready with your horoscope right now.
Thursday, February 8th, Aries. Be willing to share your good fortune with someone who may need a helping hand today. Taurus, career or business matters are especially favored today. Further your personal interests now. Gemini, make long-range social plans at this time. Gather information for future use. Cancer, this is a good day to make some needed changes in the home. Leo, family affairs can hold your attention today. Come to an agreement about important matters. Virgo, buy work clothes or tools today. Purchase things which are modern and serviceable. Libra, decide what is needed to make a young person happy and see that it is done. Scorpio, make some long-needed repairs in the home today. Some electrical fixtures may need attention. Sagittarius, good news from someone nearby could make this a happy day for you. Capricorn, someone in authority can be helpful to you in a financial way today. Aquarius, have plenty of self-confidence and go after what you want. Take advantage of an unusual opportunity. Pisces, look for lost objects today. You may be able to find them at this time.
Move over, Perry Como. Move over, Bobby Vinton. Here comes Dan Holloway, who is moving rapidly up that ladder to stardom. Dan?
Lady, are you crying? Do the tears belong to me? Did you think our time together was all gone? Lady, you've been dreaming. I'm as close as I can be, and I swear to you, the time has just begun. Close your eyes and rest your weary mind, and I promise I will stay right here beside you. Today, all eyes were joined, became entwined. I wish you would know how much I love you. Lady, are you happy? Do you feel the way I do? Are there meanings that you never, ever seen before? Lady, my sweet lady, I'm as close as I can be, and I swear to you, our time has just begun. My sweet lady.
Dan Holloway, that was beautiful. You're going to be hearing a lot from Dan Holloway in the future. You have the whole thing going for you.
Thank you.
Look great, you sound great, and isn't it exciting that you're from Pittsburgh? Because I just have a very strong feeling that you're just going to go places real fast, and we're going to be so proud to say, hey, Dan's from Pittsburgh.
Thank
and he
you.
went to Langley High School, and you're now playing at the Holiday House.
That's right.
And
I'll
was
be
it-
out there till the 15th, about the next 7 nights straight. It's a really good show. I hope everybody come out and see it. We're doing really good, and it's a show that will just consists of everything. We go from the disco to the melodies of Manlow, back to the nostalgia, and the show just has everything. I play guitar, I play piano, we dance, we do routines, and I really have a super crew working with me also. As you probably know, Don Brockett, one of the finest in the country,
Yeah, he
is
is
co-producing
indeed.
with me, writing the show. One of the finest arrangers in the country is working with me, Jim Drake. And with a team like that, I can hardly miss. And things are going super right out there right now.
Dan, you went to Langley High School. You grew up in Pittsburgh. Was it all that easy? I'm sure that there are a lot of people who have talent and they say, well, I can sing, I can play the guitar. There's Dan Holloway, he went to high school here, and all of a sudden he's at the Holiday House. I suspect it wasn't quite that simple.
No, it wasn't at all. Well, actually, 7th grade, I was playing drums in rock and roll groups, and I was playing at Pitt fraternity houses and sorority houses back in 7th grade. And we started there in high school. I was playing in folk groups. I started playing more in rock groups. I started a duo in high school. I was playing in a lot of clubs like the Encore and the Gaslight when I was like 16 years old. And from that point, when I graduated from high school, I went to Duquesne University School of Music, and where I got my Bachelor's of Science in Music Education. So I'm also a teacher of music. And at school, I formed Dan Holloway and Company at that particular time. And we started playing all the big clubs around Pittsburgh, and then we did some recordings and this sort of thing, and that took me up through my college years. And then after that, I went into the teaching, and I'm a permanent sub for the Pittsburgh Public Schools, which I am teaching back at Langley High School, kind of going back.
Oh, that must be a thrill.
That is really. I was there, for about the last 2 months as filling in for the choral teacher, and now I'm doing this out at the Holiday House. So it's been a long time coming. It happens all at once, but it takes a long time to get to this point, and we're just happy that it's happened.
Okay, where do you want to go? What is your goal?
Well, we're using the Holiday House as a showcase right now. And what we really want to do is bring in the big agents from around the country. We've contacted them. We're hoping they'll come in and see the show. And the owners and everything have been great out there. And they want us to bring them in. If they see us, they like us, then they're going to take us, on the road. But we're not talking anybody like agents from Pittsburgh. We're talking agents from New York, agents from Los Angeles, Vegas, everywhere, right? And we're trying to bring these people in.
Okay, well, I would suggest that everybody get out to the Holiday House to see Dan Holloway, because I don't think he's going to be around Pittsburgh much longer. You're going to be at the Holiday House from now through
the 15th.
Through the 15th.
Right.
Dan, thank you so much. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And we'll be looking for you on television, in the movies, all over the place. We're going to now go out to Hollywood, and we're going to check in with Tony Holt. And Tony every day comes up with a lot of good stuff about the stars.
With all the inside news, this is Tony Holt in Hollywood. There's one interesting angle to the marriage-go-round of the stars that's rarely noted. Now many men have lifelong second unions. Their first to women they chose while young and unknown failed. Their second often becomes their last. Buddy Epson married second wife Nancy in 1945, and they still act like honeymooners. Kirk Douglas has been married to his aunt for more than 2 decades, and Gregory Peck married second wife Veronique in 1955. Lorne Green admits his career involvement wrecked his first marriage to the mother of his grown twins, but he wed again a dozen years ago, and it's a winner. Michael Landon's first marital try when he was only 19 failed. He and present wife Lynn have been married for more than 17 years. Everyone knows Joanne Woodward is Paul Newman's second wife. They observed their 21st anniversary on January 28th. Joe Hamilton had a wife and 8 children before he got divorced and married Carol Burnett over 16 years ago. Charles Bronson failed to find happiness with Harriet Tendler, but has had 10 years of it with Joe Ireland. Carlo Ponti gave up his Italian citizenship in order to end his first marriage and wed Sophia Loren. But Hollywood naturally has one incredible variation on this theme. Robert Wagner married Natalie Wood in 1957. Both wed others after their divorce in 1960. Both second marriages failed. Bob and Natalie have been happily together and married since 1972. So you see, if at first you don't succeed, do try again. And in Hollywood, this is Tony Holt.
Children's art. The things your kids draw with crayons and with pencils and in school, well, they can tell a great deal about their personalities. This according to Ray Pilarski, a Good Day artist, and Ray is back with us for part 2 in our series on children's art. Ray, what are some of the things that a parent can look for, or you as an art teacher, what are some of the things that you look for that can determine growth in a child?
Well, whenever you're examining their drawings, particularly their drawings, you look for particular types of awareness of environment. For youngsters, very young kids, first grade, second grade, kindergarten age, you look for gradually increasing body awareness so that there are more parts, more detail work concerning the drawing of the body. Environmental qualities, which shows that the child is becoming more aware of the world that they live in, their home. It's surprising the things that we take for granted, they are still learning, they're still becoming aware of, so that the more they use in their drawings, the better the signs of growth would be.
Is it important for parents to introduce coloring books and paper and pencil to children at a very young age?
Definitely not. No, that's just like, that would be like mainlining on opium. Giving a kid a coloring book when they're very little, as they grow older, it may appear to be a very nice, neat thing to do, but it is definitely one of the most detrimental things that a parent or a teacher can do to a youngster.
Why is
just,
that? I thought all kids always had coloring books.
What it does, you know, I know all of them do, but it's a bad thing to do, because what it does is it gradually, unconsciously, subconsciously, makes the child feel that this is the right way to draw a thing, that this is the more correct way. And they lose their own identity, they lose their own expression of a particular thing.
Okay, so instead of a coloring book, then give your young child a piece of paper, a pencil, a crayon,
right.
Let them do it themselves.
Definitely a blank piece of paper and crayons. If they're young.
How young? How young?
This can be started as soon as a baby is able to grasp things. Once he gets beyond the stage of eating things, since you don't want him to eat the crayons or the pencils, give him a crayon, a large piece of paper, so that they can just scribble, just move, because it's an extension of themselves. They have no idea who or what is making those marks on the paper, but they just enjoy doing that. So you'll be helping them as far as muscular control is concerned. As they gradually get a grip on their mental images, then you'll start to see little images start to be produced on the paper. Then is a time not to show them how to draw something. Let it come out naturally. Let them show you, communicate to you what they know of a particular subject.
Should you give them crayons, a choice of colors, and then watch the colors that they select? And if they select certain colors, would these be construed as maybe danger signs?
Oh no, I don't think so. We have a tendency to relate to colors in for various reasons as we grow. I don't think a real young child, I'm still speaking of primary and preschool age children, I don't think they have a real definite attachment to a particular color. They may use it emotionally more than a representational way like we would.
In other words, if a child would pick black, for example, and just do everything in black and deep colors, this would not indicate that there might be some negative personality trait?
No. At times it might, but I'm not a psychoanalyst. I wouldn't, that would take more time to get into. They may be more concerned with what they're doing and what they're trying to say rather than on what kind of coloration they may be using.
You brought some examples along with you this morning. Let me see what you have there.
These are examples from a grade school group, first and second grade. This was a project dealing with body awareness, dealing with two simple activities, jumping rope and brushing their teeth. Now this first example, I certainly hope you can pull in close enough to this. No?
All right. That's
okay.
very light. Let's see.
Way down in this corner, okay.
Okay.
This child made a rendition of herself jumping rope. You can see that the arms and legs are coming out of the head. This is part of the cephalocaudal development stage. The child now is not aware that she has a body. Therefore, the important things, the arms and legs, are extending from the head. Her head is still more important to her than anything else. So that's why they draw it this way.
How old is this child?
This is a first grader.
Okay,
it's
so
not
about
an
6 years old.
Right. It's not an incorrect drawing. It's just what she is aware of.
Okay.
This.
Oh, that's self-portrait, right?
Right. This is brushing her teeth. The small, delicate line coming from here is not an electric cord, but it's her arm, and then her teeth, toothbrush included in there.
Did the child explain this to you, Ray, or are you drawing your own conclusions? Did she say this was her arm?
Right. Whenever one of the kids are doing their their artwork. I never ask what a certain thing is. I will always just question them to tell me about their work. And as they tell me, they explain what's going on. This is an example of exaggeration. There's a girl brushing her teeth with about an 85-pound toothbrush. Not necessarily because she has a brush that's that big, but just because she feels it's that important. So she exaggerated it to an extent.
Okay, what do we have up here? What did she tell you what that is?
This is a fancy light that she has in her bathroom.
I see.
She notices those details. Okay.
How important is it for parents to support a child's artwork? These things that are done in school, I think anyone that's ever had youngsters, the refrigerator is usually full of little drawings. Is this important to the child?
Definitely. It's probably one of the best things that a parent could do would be to support, even whenever they sort of fake it a little bit and don't understand what the child is doing. It is good for them to praise them because it gives the child a good sense of self-confidence, of pride in what they're doing.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that because just quickly, we only have a couple of seconds, I brought this along. When my child was 3 years old, she did this in nursery school, and I went out and had it framed and put it on the wall, and as a matter of fact, it stayed on the wall for 10 years.
Good.
So
it's a very nice piece of work.
I'm glad to hear that, that was a good. We're going to be right back. Thanks, Ray.
You're welcome.
That's it for Thursday. Now, tomorrow morning on Good Day Pittsburgh, what a show we have. We have Anna Kayo, a Cantonese gourmet chef, and she's going to come by and cook up some marvelous things in the kitchen. Victoria Bond is going to be here. She's the director with the Pittsburgh Symphony. Tomorrow, she's going to be with the Pittsburgh Youth Symphony, a wonderful concert coming up. So please join us. That's 10.